The New York subway is a vast network of tunnels that, like blood vessels in a human body, permeates the entire city. It was in these vessels that I worked for a time until a certain event happened to me and my mentor or colleague. I'm still not sure which is more accurate. I decided to tie my life to the railroad, specifically the subway. I was always fascinated by these tunnels, the stations, and everything about them. When we ride the subway, we only see the occasional flickering lights in the tunnels. But that's not all there is. After graduating from a railroad college in New Jersey, I was immediately hired by the New York subway. At first, I worked at a technical station, running errands, cleaning up, and helping however I could for meager pay. I hoped for a promotion, and after 3 months, I got one. They gave me an orange reflective vest and sent me to patrol the tunnels. In reality, I was promoted to track inspector, a person who checks the rails and structures every day, maintains them, fixes issues, and ensures nothing threatens the trains. It's a very important and responsible job, so I was assigned to someone who had worked in this role for many years and knew the entire New York subway like the back of his hand. Stephen. That day was my last at the technical station. I was sitting in the locker room when a burly man walked in. "Hey, are you Andrew?" "Yes, that's me." "My name's Stephen. Management told me you wanted to explore the tunnels. Well, you'll get your wish. From now on, I'm your colleague, at least on paper. In reality, nobody knows these tunnels better than I do. At first, I'll teach you everything I know about this tough job." He looked like a typical American worker, but you could tell he enjoyed his work and made good money. I hoped I'd be a good apprentice because there was a lot to learn. "What did you study?" "I'm a locomotive engineer." "Nice. Ever been in the cab?" "A couple of times, but not for long. Don't worry, we'll teach you everything. You're lucky. There's a real shortage of staff. You got here because I requested another guy. Tomorrow, meet me by that door over there at 11 at night. I'll show you everything." He shook my hand so hard I thought he'd break my fingers. I changed and headed home, glad I lived nearby. The weather was perfect, so I walked home, headphones in, thinking about my new job and how tomorrow night I'd be walking the subway tunnels with Stephen. Maybe it sounds strange, but those tunnels fill me with both excitement and chills. Everyone has their own passions. I got home exhausted, took a shower, and crashed. The next day passed quickly. When I arrived at the technical station, everything that would change my worldview began. That was the worst night of my life. I entered the room Stephen had shown me. "Ready to work?" "Always ready," I smiled. It was a small, cramped room full of equipment and uniforms. Stephen had clearly already had a drink or two. "Don't just stand there. Put on your vest. Got a change of clothes?" "Yes." "Good. Get changed. Take these tools, a flashlight, flags. Don't forget the flags, even if they're useless. Management insists." I took a hammer, wrench, crowbar, and flashlight. "We've got about 10 minutes, so let's have some tea." He boiled water and poured us each a cup. "So, tonight, we're checking the Orange Line, from Brooklyn to Central Park. Pay close attention to everything. Rails, wires, ties. If you find anything rotten or broken, radio it in." I listened carefully. This was a responsible job. We finished our tea and headed to the platform. The subway was closing, so the stations were empty. Soon, a train arrived. We sat in the last car. The last passengers got off. The escalators stopped, and the subway closed. Our shift began. "Relax for 10 minutes, then we'll go." "You smoke?" "No." "I do. Cameras can't see us here, and I've worked here 30 years. When some rookie tries to tell me what to do, I set them straight. This is my second home. I've seen a lot here." "What have you seen?" I asked. "A lot. Every line has its quirks. Don't ever stray from your route. Always keep the map of your line in your vest pocket. I've seen death here, people run over by trains and other things." He lowered his voice. Don't talk about it too loudly or they'll hear. Who? You think the dead go to heaven? No, they stay here forever. God forbid you meet one. During the day, the trains scare them off, but at night, when the trains stop, they come out. That's why people quit, even with good pay. His story surprised and unsettled me, but I chalked it up to a drunk worker's tales. Enough talk, let's go. You're carrying all the gear tonight. We passed Brooklyn Station and entered the tunnel. The dim lights forced us to use our flashlights. The tunnels seemed enormous. Keep your eyes on the rails, Steven said. I focused on the rails and soon found a loose nut. See, that's common. Tighten it. As I worked, Steven suddenly said, Quiet. Do you hear that? I listened. It sounded like a train. But all the trains are docked, I said. Exactly. The walls remember everything that's happened here. Why the sound of trains, I don't know. We moved on. I tightened a few more nuts and hammered in a loose spike. We reached Harlem Station. The empty station felt eerie. Don't stare, let's keep moving, Steven said. We continued to Central Park. Everything was calm until Steven stopped me again. Give me the map, he said. I handed it over and looked ahead. There seemed to be another station. Let's go check it out, he said. My heart pounded. Even Steven looked uneasy. We approached. It looked more like a big platform than a station. I don't remember this at all, Steven muttered. Suddenly, I saw a silhouette. Who's that? I whispered. Quiet. Turn off your flashlight. We hid in the dark, hoping not to be seen. No one else should be here. Then I realized there were 5 figures. We need to get out of here, Steven whispered. We retreated quietly, but I tripped over a rail and crashed, dropping all my tools. Get up, quick, Steven hissed. I stood and looked back. What I saw still haunts me. People running at us, but not quite alive. They had terrible wounds, missing arms, legs, blood-stained clothes. They moved like puppets. We ran. One of them crawled up the tunnel wall like a spider, chasing us. The others followed. I was exhausted, but Steven urged me on. The creature on the wall was gaining on me. As I reached the station, it lunged, but at the edge of the tunnel, it vanished into thin air. They don't come onto the platform, Steven gasped. I've worked here 30 years, but I've never seen anything like that. We caught our breath. Steven radioed for a maintenance cart. No one else seemed to hear the screams from the tunnel. Eventually, our ride arrived, and we returned to the technical station. That night, Steven and I shared a few drinks and exchanged numbers. Sometimes we still talk. Since then, I avoid the subway at night. People keep riding, never thinking about what the tunnels might hide. For them, it's just transportation. But I know what lurks in the darkness. I know that besides the workers, someone or something else roams the tunnels at night.